Today, we're diving into a massive shift in Australian workplace law. And no, it's not about safety helmets or steel-toed boots. We're talking about something called psychosocial risk. And, get this, how your company's efforts to improve well-being might actually be doing the exact opposite.
So let's start with this really critical question. Because with these new workplace laws, it turns out that even with the best intentions, some well-being strategies could, ironically, be making things a whole lot worse if they're not done right.
Okay, so here's the big change. Australian workplace safety laws now include a positive duty. What does that mean? Well, think of it like this. It's not enough to just put up a wet floor sign after someone's already slipped. Now, employers have to proactively look for potential puddles and, stop the slip from ever happening in the first place. It's all about getting ahead of a very specific kind of risk.
And this is the hazard we're talking about, a psychosocial hazard. Now, I know, it sounds a bit like corporate jargon, but if you look at the definition, it's actually incredibly broad. It covers everything from how your job is designed, to the office environment, and even just the way people talk to each other. And to make it a little more real, regulators have actually pinpointed 14 distinct categories of these hazards. Yeah, 14. It's a pretty detailed list that employers are now legally required to get on top of.
And we're not talking about abstract ideas here. Just look at these examples. Crazy job demands, having zero control over your own work, bad relationships with colleagues, not knowing what you're supposed to be doing. This is the everyday stuff that now carries some serious legal weight.
The real trick here is that these hazards don't come from just one place. They bubble up from thousands of little interactions every single day. And when companies are faced with that kind of complexity, they tend to fall into one of two major traps.
So let's look at the first one. We'll call it the red bus approach. And this one is all about command and control. The whole mindset behind the red bus is basically, do it because I'm the boss. It's that classic top-down style that tries to manage risk by just piling on more rules, more policies, and more oversight.
But here's the kicker. The red bus tries to stamp out risk by adding all these rules and policing people's behavior. But in doing that, it takes away people's autonomy and their sense of control, which, as we just saw, are psychosocial hazards themselves. So in trying to fix the problem, the red bus literally creates the very risks it's supposed to prevent. It's a perfect example of the cure being way worse than the disease.
All right, now for the second trap, the green bus approach. This one isn't so much about control, it's more about compliance, and frankly, avoidance.
The motto of the green bus is, we're doing this because we have to. You know the vibe, it's the culture of doing the absolute bare minimum to avoid getting in trouble and to make sure the paperwork looks good. And this is what's so dangerous about the green bus. On the surface, everything seems fine. All the boxes are ticked, the reports are done, but it's all for show. Underneath, all the real problems and conflicts are just festering, completely ignored. And this creates a culture of apathy where nobody really cares, which, you guessed it, is a perfect breeding ground for those same psychosocial risks. And this just lays it all out, doesn't it? Whether you're a red bus driven by control or a green bus driven by compliance, you end up in the same place, a culture of either distrust or apathy, with a workforce that's stressed out and completely disengaged.
So if the red and green buses are just dead ends, what is the alternative? Well, this is where the blue bus mindset comes in.
The blue bus approach completely flips the script. The goal is no longer about avoiding risk or ticking a box. It's about genuinely, proactively building a positive environment where people can actually do their best work. It's all driven by a real sense of purpose and commitment.
And you know why the blue bus works? Because it taps into what we all need as human beings to feel safe and motivated. It's about meeting three core psychological needs. First, status, that feeling of being valued and respected. Second, certainty, knowing what's expected of you. And third, control, having the freedom to actually shape your own work. When those three needs are met, people thrive. When they're not, that's when you get psychosocial risk.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how does a blue bus organization actually do this? How do you really create that sense of status, certainty, and control?
A blue bus leader knows one thing for sure. You can't solve this with another 50-page policy document. That's just the red bus in disguise. The real solution is something much, much smaller and way more human.
So instead, they shift their focus from what we call big Fs to little f's. Big Fs are those formal systems, the huge, complex, top-down initiatives that often just make things more complicated. Little Fs, on the other hand, are the small, everyday interactions, the simple, low-cost things that managers and team members can do to empower each other and build a better place to work.
And these little F's deliver something incredibly powerful: the second paycheck. This has nothing to do with money. It's all about the non-financial rewards that actually make work feel meaningful. Things like clarity, autonomy, and feeling valued. And here's the crucial part. This second paycheck isn't handed out by the HR department. It's delivered by your direct manager and your immediate teammates.
Just look at these examples. Explaining the why behind a task, checking in on someone as a person, not just checking on their progress, giving people the power to actually solve a problem, having their back when things go south. These aren't huge, complicated programs. They are simple, powerful investments that a leader can make every single day to build a safer, more motivating team.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that to really manage psychosocial risk, you have to look beyond the checklists. It's about shifting your focus to those small, everyday human interactions that build trust and clarity and control. So the real question for any leader, for any of us really, isn't what new policy should we write. It's what's one small thing, one little F that I can do today to make work just a little bit better for someone else.